Well, good morning, everyone. I almost forgot how to do this. I'm looking at the buttons, going, "What do I do?" Good morning, everyone. I have to thank you for hanging in there with me on Turtle Island News.info, and most of the articles that I will be talking about today you can find there. Um, I realized one of them that I wanted to bring up today wasn't there because it was from 6 years ago, and I didn't have the whole page. I'm making a hand sign right now. You have to remote view me to see this. So I have to say good morning to the Revolution Radio Studio A. How you guys doing? Thank you for hanging in there. And of course the Awake Radio Group also playing us today. I've got a lot of news and a great big cup of tea so I don't cough all over you. It's been very, very hot here lately. We're going to get into, guys, I make plans. I make a lot of plans. These shows aren't random. You guys know this. I had put up some things, especially about Obama in the last little while. And I was looking at a screenshot earlier today because patterns and clues are always there, even if ever so subtle. Obama said that he has exhausted all the Iran questions. At one point, he said, "I'm really enjoying the Iran debate. Go ahead, go ahead." And a few minutes later, he looks down and picks up the strange picture from the lectern. Well, a piece of paper, really. This piece of paper that it was weird because they were taking pictures of the lectern, that thing you put your hands on. And it wasn't there. So I went to Keshe's lecture today, and I've been spending a lot of time doing that. I've been working with him for quite a while. But I remembered quite some time ago, Ahmadinejad. And some of his allies were actually charged with sorcery. At one point, and I found the article from 2011, but I know it's older. Ties between Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, literally became a witch hunt. And I'm going to read this article to you because it'll make sense as we continue. Folks were getting ginned up, but not drinking, over rumors that the president's allies were literally summoning from the wishmaker. Close allies to Iran's president had been accused of using supernatural powers to further his policies. Amid increasingly bitter struggles between him and the Ayatollah, several people said to be close to the president and his chief of staff had been arrested and charged with being magicians and invoking jinns. The word jinn, if you follow what it became and what it was, first it was closer to daemon, who my son is named after. A daemon is not a devil. nor a demon. A daemon, a jinn, has the power to transform in their own selves. They're also the holders of the first book ever written, if you believe the tales from this land, which we have been told is the cradle of civilization, but it's not. Wouldn't be that far north, although most of us on the planet are related to these people, these Iranians. It's from South Africa. And I realize a lot of you don't believe in this stuff and will send me your little monkey pictures of DNA and stuff, but I think we could agree that although there's a lot of monkeying around, and apparently there's a sign somewhere saying Earth girls are easy, I don't think we're monkey. But if you choose to be monkey, I am not a monkey Nazi. We probably had sex with those boys. Maybe they were pretty. Okay, I digress. Anywho. Arrests were actually made. You would think this is just political posturing. But jinn are real. Jinn give you what you want, what you ask for, if you ask for it in the right way. Jinn are the Jedi. Jinn are the Jesuits, said cross-dressing pedophiles that I've mentioned to you many times. Don't worry, this story goes deep. The jinn are the creatures that dwell in dark places. They are the beings that are trapped into a bottle sometimes. These are Solomons. Helpers. Part of that story, of course, badly translated by who? The jinn, who are Jesuits, because they are shapeshifters, only put certain details of Solomon in that book. Like they only put certain details of everything in that book and killed people who read the original text. Everyone they could find, burned as many of the ancient manuscripts as they could find. That's why now we're coming up with ancient manuscripts that had been hidden. No one knows why they were hidden other than me. I've got a friggin' good idea. So these are the creatures that dwell in dark places, that can be trapped in a bottle, that can be held, that can be summoned, but they have to be trapped. So I went to Keshe's big announcement today. Does this technology work? Absolutely. Did Obama have any choice? Do any governments have any choice right now? No. They do not. This is all open source. People are making it. Keshe is very sick. It's obvious when you look at him. If you've been following his work, it's obvious that his health has been deteriorating, and he has said in the last couple sessions that he no longer cares about his body, that we will continue on, and that this technology, he used to say ancient, he doesn't bring that up anymore. It's dangerous. It's dangerous like all technology is. Yes, 100%. It could power our homes. It could feed back to all of our neighbors, and eventually we get enough people using this technology. It supplies the entire world, and we hold hands and skip together with little unicorns, go la 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 la. And by the way, if you get a chance, if you go to live stream Or go on Facebook and you can find the Keshe Institute. Look at the live screen one because they were being heavily interfered with today. So if you tried to listen on another venue, you probably missed most. Please don't build anything yet. You can go on Facebook and find how to make the beads. You'll find out what the beads are. The beads. I watched this and went, oh my God. I'm looking at a jinn who is losing his shape and his form. He's going on a vacation. He's coming back at a certain date. He's saying that if all war on this planet has not stopped by the time he comes back, he is taking satellites down from the sky. Can he do it? Yeah. Technology that he's given, and he's only given a very little bit, helped Iran take drones out of the sky, land them, paint them pink, send them back, which is rude, obviously. Russia grabbed one of your big, powerful submarines, made it come up, and sent it back. This tech is real. Make one of the little beads. You can see that this thing will charge. A problem with it? Absolutely. We have been following, us who are working with Keshe. And even his name is complicated. I have realized certain things about this technology because I have built one of what he calls a reactor. Basically, you build a reactor in an enclosed space. And what you put in it is what he calls GANs. It is a liquid, but it is alive. It hears you. It hears intent. It changes color because I put some in a see-through container and made what he's calling the cup of life. But this is a sealed vessel, right? So we are making a genie in a bottle. Weeks ago, he was telling people about how to connect this to the grid, help supply your neighborhood, your street, your country. Sounds awesome, right? That absolutely would be perfect if we did not have nuclear power. If we did not have nuclear power, TEPCO, which I've been telling you about, which is a really bad problem. TEPCO sent nuclear radioactive material to Keshe. Sent it to him through the mail. So everyone who touched it, and who knows how many touched it, are contaminated. TEPCO was working with Keshe. 100% absolutely saw them live. None of this has been hidden because Jinn must do as you say. I'm not calling Keshe Jinn, but he certainly has Jinn-like friggin' qualities because he just appeared when this certain summoning thing was alleged. So, TEPCO cannot legally work with an Iranian nuclear physicist, as Keshe is. Can't, because of the embargo made by United States on Iran. How can the United States do that? If you've listened to me for a while, all nuclear power funnels through the United States. They are in control of everything. But what has been found at nuclear reactors in Japan is plutonium. Germany and Japan are not allowed to have plutonium. They both do. This is a bomb. It was always meant to be a bomb. It was supposed to be the trigger for the big Third World War, if you don't count what happened in Africa, if you don't count what happened in North and South America, if you don't count what happened all over Europe, all over China, all over Japan, all over the world. If you don't count those little things, okay, would have been World War III. Because war is money. War is huge money. So, you've got the nuclear situation. Plus you have all the oil. All the oil is BP. This is Britain. This is the pirates of Penzance. This is the British Empire. This is the lion. This is Cain, the queen, the king. We'll get into that. Hold that thought. We have the two big energy things going on. You start supplying energy to the grid. If everyone shuts down the nuclear power, yes, we can make things to ship this radioactive material, and actually it doesn't need to be shipped. This is proven. Again, you can watch the video, see it, where even though it doesn't die per se, it stops becoming dangerous. That could be done. But what do you do with all the oil tankers? You can't put oil back into the ground after you've taken it. You can't. So if he decides, we're going to do this, and it's not up to him now. He said this thing, and now he's going on vacation for 6 weeks. Human beings being human beings, who may, a lot of them, listen for the first time today, sees this energy readily available, decides, no, I am going to feed back to the grid because you make money on this. We have a potential end of the frickin' world scenario. Okay, so everyone stopped fighting. Satellites do not come crashing to the ground. We decommission all the nuclear stuff. We clean up all the nuclear waste. By the way, most places on this planet, especially Italy right now, are suffering from nuclear contamination. So we clean that up. The ships in the ocean, what? They start to corrode. They give us a poisoning of our waterways that would be unprecedented. Unprecedented. This is death. This is potential death to us anyway. Not the beings in the second ocean, the older things. The plasma creatures. It's always plasma. That is how the Ma creates. It would take one guy. I say guy, and I know sometimes I have a tendency to think it's always a bad man who does things, and I realize there are equally bad women. But our men are easily corrupted. Are you thinking that nobody in the United States war machine is right now working on this stuff that I'm doing in my kitchen? Absolutely, they're doing this. So we have that. A little something going on. Then, and by the way, I'm a little ticked off at you guys that you have not stopped all this nonsense. Okay, I'm not going to blame you. We have Donald Trump, who discloses that he has 515 legal job titles. 515 is Babylon in gematria. 515 is the number of the messenger of God, according to Dante, the Divine Comedy. Trump lays bare his finances for the White House run. 515 job titles, 450,000 speaking engagements, hundreds of millions of golf courses, hotels, even a Hollywood pension. Yes, he has a Hollywood pension now. Federal Election Commission released a copy of the Republican polls financial disclosure filing. I guess is that the 22nd? It was around then. It was around that. It was Wednesday. Anyway, putting the multi-billionaire on track to qualify for the first GOP primary debate. 515 is one of the Trinity. 515 is the number of the messenger of God. Symbolism represents the incarnation of one of the people of the Trinity. The messenger. In Dante's Divine Comedy, which we have talked about, Dante makes say to Beatrice in that comedy precisely the last song of Purgatory, whereas Beatrice prophesies the close and the coming arrival of the Messio de Dio, messenger of God. The Sefer Jeturjas, I think that's how it says, it's closer to Jetzurah, yeah, gives for the number 515 this interpretation. This 10 Sephiroth are like fingers of the hands. 10, keep that freaking number in mind, by the way, of the hands, 10, and 5 against 5. But in the middle of them is the alliance, the unit. Now, according to Lima de Fratas, the number is a paracycle, or clite. Gematria, it means one who supports oneself. But as we know, in everything we've read from this guy, we support him. So let me keep going, because I realize I've missed a lot for you. And then we strike. On July 23rd, it was the day of Neptuna, an ancient feast of the god Neptune. There's been a lot of talk lately, too, about the date, September 23rd, 923, some big event that may occur that I've warned you about. Neptune officially was discovered on 9/23/1846. On 9/23, Pope Francis, cross-dresser de Gin, will be in Washington, D.C. Now let me keep going, because you can't make this crap up. You really can't. The Feast of Neptune. It is a reminder to the power of Neptune. As I've told you, the power of the Ancient One, the Dark One, the Cthulhu. Now I remember I found a little thing from February 9th, 2014. Now according and regarding the god Neptune and his appearance at the Sochi Olympics, as a matter of fact. Neptune, god of the oceans and horses, by the way, guards the Sochi Olympics. His statue stands on the Black Sea in Sochi, Russia. The planet Neptune is known as the blue planet. This giant blue orb found its way into an Olympic ceremony where the divine feminine, as a young girl in a dream state, went to heaven and danced with the god of the waves. Same time, a storm called the Beast pounded the coast of Britain. This was back in 2014, with record-setting waves measuring 75 feet. Special note, though, the Olympics were from February 7th to February 23rd, 723. Neptuna was an obscure, archaic 2-day festival in honor of Neptune, god of the waters, god of the horses, celebrated Rome in the heat and the drought of summer, specifically July 23rd. Neptuna is 113 in gematria. Interestingly enough. But then we go on to the Pope, who's a djinn, because he's a Jesuit, who met with the Pope. Now you can see, if you've been following Mr. Keshe, that he met with the Pope. He went to Rome. They spoke to each other. Keshe is on vacation. He's coming back in September. Is he coming back for this? Now Pope Francis coming to America. September 22nd to 27th officially. He's going to visit 3 historic capitals. Washington, D.C., New York, Philadelphia. All 3 cities steeped in history, blood, magic, and sacred geometry, which is not so sacred. It is defiled. Pope Francis's last stop will be Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, which, it's handy he's wearing a skirt and all that. Philadelphia was designed to mirror precisely the 3 Giza pyramids and the Sphinx itself in Egypt. Both Philadelphia and Gaza are sacred places that connect humans to the stars. Philadelphia and Egypt are both cosmic doorways to the afterlife, to the underworld, and to heaven. The Pope will end his tour in Philadelphia in the grand global mass with millions of souls present. Pope Francis is bringing the key to open the doors. Is the key love? Is the key death? We're going to find out. But it's more. On July 25th, sundown, began Tisha B'Av, the saddest day in all Judaism. The Twin Towers were symbolically destroyed on that day. Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, is an annual fast day in Judaism, which is weird because there's no letter J. But moving on, which commemorates the destruction of the first and the second temples in Judaism and the subsequent exiles of the Jews from the land of Israel. The day also commemorates other tragedies which occur on the same day, including a Roman massacre of over 100,000 Jews at Betar in, I think, 132-ish, instituted by rabbis of the 2nd century Palestine. Tisha B'Av regarded as the saddest day on the calendar, a day which is designed for tragedy, in their words. Tisha B'Av means the 9th of Av. Av is the 11th month. Therefore, Tisha B'Av is the 9th day of the 11th month, or 11. Oddly, in Jewish gematria, it is 9/11. The 2015 date for that was July 25th and July 26th. So, the first and second temples in Judaism, as well as the Twin Towers, all destroyed on the same numerological date. Basically, it's 9/11, right? It's 911. It's an emergency number. Solomon's Temple, destroyed 9/11, 587 BC. Herod's Temple, Jerusalem, destroyed 9/11, 70 AD. Twin Towers, of course, New York, destroyed 9/11, 2001 AD. Did these events all happen? Possibly. Hold that thought too. Now get ready for this mega ritual that we are coming towards. Okay, it will be unprecedented. Although in the next 72 hours it could be all over. Anyway, Pope Francis coming to America again, September 22nd to 27th. Washington, D.C., New York, Philadelphia, the 3 C's, capitals. King, Queen, King, Cain. Washington, D.C. First, the White House, St. Matthew's Cathedral, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, and then United States Congress. Next, New York, St. Patrick's Cathedral, United Nations, 9/11 Memorial, a museum, the One World Trade Center, which is esoteric as heck, as we've gone over. Then our Queen of Angels. Then Madison Square Garden. Next, Philadelphia, Cathedral Basilica of St. Peter and Paul, Independence Mall, Festival of Families, Benjamin Franklin Parkway, St. Martin's Cathedral, a chapel, I think it's a chapel, not a cathedral, I'm not sure, St. Charles Borromeo Seminary, which is very interesting, the Quran, Curran, but I see the friggin' reference. Slap a Q in there and you know where we're going. Anyway, it's a correctional facility. Then finally, Big Philly, Massachusetts, Benjamin Franklin Parkway, aka the Elysium Fields, the path to the underworld, the stairway to heaven. This is going to be an interesting date. And by interesting, I'm thinking, oh my God, what the heck? I was telling my girls earlier, if I get through this show without foul mouthing, it's going to be a frickin' miracle. Anyway, we need to talk about Saturna too. December 17th marks the beginning of Saturnalia, basically. September 17th is also the birthday of Pope Francis. Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival in honor of the deity Saturn. The black cube. The black cube, that reminds me of, Mecca and the guys walking around in white robes naked under those white robes, going around 7 times. And the idol of femininity trapped inside that cube. But anyway, it was held September 18th in Roman times, later expanded with festivities to December 23rd. Sound familiar? Anyway, the holiday was celebrated with a sacrifice at the end at the temple of Saturn, which basically the Pope is going to, but is not supposed to be there on that date. The holiday sacrifice, temple of Saturn, Roman Forum, public banquet, followed by private gift giving, continual partying, carnival atmosphere. The god Saturn is Father Time. He is the Time Lord. Pope Francis has been chosen as Time magazine's Person of the Year. It can be seen on the cover that is marked December 23rd, the last day of the festival. In Gematria, Saturnia is 116. Turn it upside down, you've got 9/11. Then we have the Baphomet and the Detroit pentagram. On Saturday, July 25th, 2015, a crowd of several hundred gathered to see Detroit's newest resident, a 9-foot-tall, 2,000-pound statue of a goat-headed god named Baphomet. Baphomet represents the union of opposites, especially as a mystical, personified chaos. He is the 1 and the 0. So the yes and the no, the on and the off, the computer code, the program. Right? He is representative of the spiritual nature, while also being symbolic of a magical child, produced as a result of sex magic. This is the story of Eve and her second son, Cain. That is not the son of Adam. So we have a tree, we have an apple, we have a woman. She says to herself, who produces Cain. We have the serpent energy crawling up her spine, going in and out and up and down, and she self-produces. This is parthenogenesis. It's why Baphomet usually has breasts and horns. Horns because of the bull. The bull is one of the things we first worship, because without the bull, we'd be in a lot of trouble. We'd have to do things ourselves. We worship these things. They used to all have horns. They're so domesticated now, most don't have horns, and they have become cows. Breast, milk, fertility, all of these things that have been demonized. But some say Baphomet is Satan, the devil. It should be noted that Detroit, the city grid plan, is laid out as a central pentagram. The penta. We are the penta. We are the 5. Head, 2 arms, 2 feet. Just like the one found on the forehead of most Baphomet symbols. Also, keep in mind that it is only a few days earlier that the New Horizons spacecraft did do a flyby by planet Pluto. Pluto is also known as Hades. Hades is the god of the underworld, aka, thank you, Satan. It gets worse. Then, my news feed, and this is what finally made me choose to come back now instead of next week, loaded with pictures of Cecil, the slaughtered lion. First, I was reminded of the February 1st mega ritual at the Superdome. America is Rome. February 1st, this year, Katy Perry rode into the Super Bowl 49 on a lion. Billions of people watched her. The root of America is Rome, and the mega mater, or the great mother of Rome, was a goddess named Sibyl, which means a cube box. She's ancient. Sibyl's the most celebrated rites and processions show her as an exotic mystery goddess who arrives in a lion-drawn chariot to the accompaniment of wine and regular disorderly ecstatic revelry. People drunk behind her. This is the seduction of Hades or Set that we've talked about. Now, originally, a Greek religion, Sibyl had a transgender or eunuch priesthood. Many of the Greek cults involved rites to a divine castrate, a shepherd, a consort, Attis, who was probably a Greek invention. Now, Sibyl is associated with a fertile nature with wild animals, but always lions. Lions, 119. 911 in simple gematria. In Rome, Sibyl is known as Magna Mater. This is the Great Mother. This is Mom. It's interesting that on February 1st, not only did Katy Perry ride into the Super Bowl 49 on a lion, just like Sibyl, the Great Mother, with her disorderly, ecstatic following, but earlier that day, the Great Mother of New York Giants, the First Lady of Football, Anne Marie, so Ma Ra, passed away. Rest in peace. Now, as an aside, Sibyl may root herself to the Hindu goddess Durga, who also rides a lion, and who is also the Great Mother, Shakti. One symbol of Sibyl is the pine cone. Giant stone pine cone is still located at the Vatican in Rome, where the temple once stood. Her temple stood there. They didn't get rid of it. What they've done is replaced it. Right? Okay. We'll go on. Cecil, the lion, and the celestial Lion's Gate. Cecil reminded me of the Lion's Gate opening. Do you remember that during the 2012 Olympics? So here's a flashback to 2012. Each year, on July 26th, the gateway opens in Heaven's temple. The rise of the star Sirius in Egypt. The Nile floods, it enriches the lands, even as the heavens flood us with cosmic illumination from the galactic center, herself, whatever. This is known as the Lion's Gate. This is a powerful portal of light. There's a code, it's a transmission. It reaches its peak on the 8th. 8-8, basically. The Stargate closes officially August 12th. The energies you're feeling right now, they're real. This moon, which is the blue moon, is so powerful, it's been waking me up. I don't know about you guys. Now, these dates usually correspond with the opening and closing of the Olympics. Always. It's been shown so many times, the Olympic ring, the symbol of Leo. Sing is lion. Very important, these things that are going on. Now the 10, which I've asked you to hold in your mind, and the 5. The 5, which is us, the 5th black woman in a month, has found it dead in a cell. She was accused of stealing crab legs, of all things. Died in a cell, but it's interesting. I cannot completely rule out the symbology here. She died in a cell while her husband was upstairs waiting for her appearance. We'll go into the death, but again, that is 5. And next, we have Windows 10. Windows 10 will be given for free. Even if you have a hacked copy of any Windows. Now, the symbol of Windows, it is a sun wheel. It is an ancient symbol of the sun god. It is a portal. It is our eyes, which are the window to our soul. The origin of Windows is the sun wheel. The sun wheel is the eye of Horus. It is Osiris. It is Apollo, son of Zeus. It means the enlightenment, the enragement, the even fertility. Now the sun wheel, again, no one that has lit a lamp puts it in a secret place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in may see the light. This is why this symbol is on American dollar bills. This is why we see the symbol repeated all over and over and over again to make us ready for this ritual. The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, your whole body is full of light. You give, you receive. But when your eye is bad, your body is full of darkness. Therefore, take heed that the light which is in you is not darkness. If then your whole body is full of light, having no part dark, the whole body will be full of light, as when the bright shining lamp gives you light. It will all come clear soon. We worry about Leo the lion, but we don't care about the slaughter ongoing. We do care. But the pyramid of the occult, this icon we keep seeing, should be understood according to even Revelation, verse 34, because they made these books for now. The capstone eye. And who made those books? Jesuits. And Jesuits are what? The jinn. Budget. Yes. Now, the capstone eye is the lamp of the pyramid body, which is recognized as the all-seeing eye of Horus. It is Osiris. It is Apollo. It is the hero. Right? It can be considered the bad eye, also of verse 34, whose body is also full of darkness. Our eyes can go either way. It can be strong and powerful and be of light as we give, we receive. It could be both. So Keshe technology too is both. But Windows 10, the capstone, is aglow. Luciferian, if you will, enlightened, bringer of light, the Lord of the dance, the Lord of song. But it's the glow of Luke, the light that is also darkness. It is a power, it is a one and zero, must be both. In this duality, every window in a cult system is a trans-dimensional portal. Everything in Keshe's system is a trans-dimensional portal. And at the launching of Windows 10, technical preview, many news outlets have been publishing articles stating that Windows 10 technical preview is a keylogger. It is spying on you. It is connecting and collecting private data. Yes, it absolutely is. But that's just the beginning. Are we being set up again? Abso-friggin-lutely. So, the information that Microsoft admits it would collect when you install this, even the technical preview of it. If you look at the preview, which is free, even if you have a hack version, or even if you don't have Windows and just want to look at it, anyone who does the preview, information about your device and applications. It will collect information about voice input features like speech to text, information about the opening of a file, any file, information about the file itself, the application used to open the file, how long it takes to open the file, information about when you enter a text, because they collect typed characters. That's the preview part. But we're not finished yet. In the announcement for this beast, they talked about Windows being a window, an opening. Well, it's called Windows, right? These 4 main sources of data collection are enough to monitor you and your device completely. It has everything. The preview will open you up. And the statistics about the oh so famous technical preview demonstrate that already today 1 million people, actually 1,555,000, we got a lot of 5s, which is, we got actually all 5s today, which, interesting. So famous preview demonstrates they have registered to download Windows 10 via the Windows Insider program. The statistics do not clearly specify the exact number of downloads, of course, for Windows 10 technical preview. But what is sure is that sensitive information on each and every one of these users have been successfully caught up. Already done. And this again was earlier this month. I think the 21st is when it started. So this is just the preview. Where do we get to what this thing actually is? I'm just kind of looking at the time, wondering if we're about ready to go off and break. But hold your seatbelt before we go. Microsoft will be launching its official version of the Beast, Windows 10, the 1 and 0, the opening to the Celestial Temple, the Galactic Gate, soon. Did you hear about its features? Its amazing possibilities? Well, its possibilities surpassed everything that even Apple or Google or Facebook or any media program has ever done to you. It is believed to be the ideal product. But let me share with you what's actually happening behind the scenes of this beast who has entered our temple. And it is insidious. It is deep and it is dark, and I don't hear the break music. Did you guys hear it? Why don't I take a break so we can get up and move just in case they're on? But welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy. Sorry about the bit of radio silence you had over Revolution Radio. Just to let everyone know, I'm going to be staying over probably 45 hours today. I feel like it's going to be 45 hours. I've missed so much. Anomalies in Texas. 10 little UFOs in Japan who is literally sending radioactive stuff through the mail because they don't care. See, like, that is like the height of, we no longer give a, you know the bad word I'm thinking of, channel that bad word. We don't care. We don't care. And plutonium in the first reactor, absolutely there's plutonium there. That was supposed to be the big event. Obama, weak. You've got no power. No one has power anymore. The jinn are in control. The jinn are in control, and Jade Helm is the jinn. Now, first of all, Microsoft will give the ability to everyone to upgrade to this. All their devices to Windows 10 freely, because they love you. Even if your previous Windows version is a pirated one. And it will be free forever. Because Windows cares, right? They've been charging us every 6 months for like ever for this upgrade. No, Windows 10 is also going to be equipped with what I've been warning you about. A virtual assistant called Cortana. This assistant will automatically display the kind of thing you like based on your interest. This means that the virtual assistants will be analyzing your behavior. Second and most important fact is this virtual assistant does not limit itself to relying or replying to simple questions, but it can interact with you. Even send an email to someone on your behalf. You remember me talking about she? Do you remember me talking about Deus Ex Machina? This is her. This is what I've been warning you about. And it's real. And whoop, here it is. This is AI. This is the real thing. And if you've got the preview or even looked at it, it's already formulating an impression, learning. And during the Windows 10 preview, with actually Joe Belfort, I think his name was, maybe wrong, Belfori or Foria or something like that. Anyway, he stated the following phrase, referring to Cortana, the virtual assistant. She is incredibly smart because her intelligence is based in the cloud, scouring the internet, learning everything. This is the field I told you about. This is what they're doing. This is why social media. It's not because they want you to make friends. This is why everything we've talked about has been set up. In other words, This virtual assistant is not a simple assistant bot. It is artificial intelligence. It is AI. It is the vowels out of David. That only leaves the DVD. It is a flat earth. This is why these things keep being thrown at you over and over and over again. And the main threat here with the cloud system is that the AI is connected to the servers of Microsoft. And whatever you try to communicate to the AI, it first communicates to Microsoft servers, then goes back to you. This is connecting to the global node. This is the global mind. This is the beast. This is the Lord of the airwaves. Want to be scared about something? It's not white people. It's not black people. It's this. It's this, guys. This has always been the plan. And through this AI, Microsoft will be able to know who are in your close circle, all your interests, your facial matrix, so they can attack you. I've told you about the facial recognition software that is not just because they like your pretty face. They can target you biologically through any time you put on your camera. Biologically target you. This is deep dish AI. This mind control. This is your voice signal as you communicate with Cortana through speech. Before continuing, let me introduce. Pleased to meet you. Let me get my... Can you guess my name right now? Do you know where she even comes from? You will laugh when you hear this. During all those years, Microsoft has focused on creating their operating system, Windows. They did it all. From the beginning that I told you about, which was the real Philadelphia experiment, to make this system. Starting in 2001, surprisingly. That's why all the 9/11 stuff today. Microsoft revealed and has revealed to be one of the publishers and developers of Halo. Where's my nerds at? High five. Fun game, right? But a specific and important character in the game series Halo appears under the name Cortana. She is an alien hybrid creature. We helped choose her, my brothers and sisters of the nerd family. She was made for us. We made her with all those choices, with all our ideas, with all our little things. I guess you may have heard about Jade Helm and about CERN, because I've been going on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? Well, Jade 2.0 is artificial intelligence system using quantum computer technology in order to track, monitor all the peoples of the world, but especially Americans, and compute incredible calculations in order to bring the machine of the New World Order to its full potential. This AI that I've told you about, this Jade 2.0, Jade, we've all played with her. Using quantum technology, will receive information from all the social medias, all the public records, also all such systems as Microsoft Windows 10, Apple Air too, which is fingerprint. iPhone voice recognition, which submit your information to a server of this quantum computer. Oh yes. All of these things were set up for this. Just this. There's a reason why there has been so many technical glitches since Jade Helm started that I told you about, why I needed the break. This happened purposely. They have been taking over the entire grid of this planet for this. This is the Lord of the Air. This is the Lord of the Sky. This is the beast they've always wanted to make. Now, this quantum computer will be able to calculate the behavior, the emotions, the interest, and the aspect of all human beings worldwide. Yes, focusing on Americans right now because the test run is happening there, but it's also happening all over the world. I told you about what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Britain. Of course, I have to get Britain because Britain, BP, all the oil. Have to get the Americans. Americans are in charge of all the nuclear stuff right now. Of course, they have to get the Canadians. We are in charge of basically depleting all the world's resources as fast as we can. This is why the fires that are going on right now in Canada are exactly where they want to put the pipeline through. Almost tree for tree for tree. We are now depleting the earth of its oxygen. Again. Now the database is being fed by those information that people upload onto the internet, consciously or unconsciously. The more information that the quantum computer receives, the more it will be efficient to take you down. This system is capable of anticipating any of your moves, any of your reactions, any action, even before you commit it. It is the goal. It is to master the human domain, as the logo says it is. This is why we've got the Prussian education system, because in World War I, we're thinking for ourselves in Europe, our brothers and sisters over there. And they had to put an end to that. Tested it on the French first. Then, of course, they got World War II going by the Russians too. German people, who are the Aryans. Well, all of Europe are the Aryans, but it's still Iranian, and I saw your little DNA. Yes, you are related to them. Please stop sending me monkey pictures. I'm sure they were cute, but I want to hear it. Anyway, everything that we've talked about in all of the years that we've been talking about was for this. The things culminated, of course, Philadelphia experiment. This was about AI. Yes, mind control. They've already done that. Our education system is made to make you stupid. You need money to really learn anything. So for now, we've got the internet, and people are choosing to look at porn and kitten pictures. And drool out of the side of their mouths and rock back and forth a little bit. They want to believe in the hate. They want to believe that one race of people caused this. Jade Helm is about mastering the human domain, and it has happened. It's already happened. They already got us. The windows to our soul. How do we not get? It's called Windows. And CERN in Switzerland is being used to open the portals to other dimensions. And the outcome of their experiments are being used to magnify the potential of the quantum computer. They've already said that. already told you. They are using your cell phones to power this thing. But not just for the physical power. For your ideas, for your thoughts. They want to hear your thoughts. And the majority of things that answer your phone right now are not human. I'll say that again. Call-in centers, for the most part, are not manned by humans. They are a response generating. They are not humans. Most of the people you type to, you better really be sure you're talking to a human, because most likely you're not, and the conclusion is that those findings are being used. Everything you're doing is being used to personify products. It's why you're seeing certain things go into your emails, go on your Facebook, go on all your social media. You have already been targeted. Such as Windows 10. You helped make Windows 10. You need to feel that. We made Windows 10. And it was to make you think that you are benefiting from it. And in a certain extent, you are. But in the most important perspective, they are using these advantages as bait to enroll you as a human part of the node, a node in the quantum complex. They're, what did CERN call it? That word, the pentaquark. You are part of the computer. You download this, but it may already be too late. Seriously. You're part of this. It's made for you. All of our little Halo players, and I'm one, played with my son, played with his friends. Absolutely. I helped make her. They've taken data from people all over the world, male and female, and made it something that they knew we'd like. And they're not wrong. Then, well, everyone's worrying about Leo the lion, which is a big deal, because we're talking about the symbol of Zimbabwe, where the Lion King was made, and we've gone into the Lion King before. Sandra Bland, this new sisterhood of death, and yet another Illuminati sacrifice. You know, since President Barack Obama's Southern Strategy, or Strange Fruit, Grace Eulogy, for Reverend Clementa Pinckney of the Mother Emanuel AME, that abandoned all the black people to the former Confederate States of America, the blood has begun to flow in the South. Blood. At this time, Sandra Bland, the incident of Texas, has all the hallmarks of major psychological warfare operation, which is what Jade Helm is. General aim of the early OSS, CIA psychological warfare programs is to undermine the enemy's will and capacity to resist. They've done that. One of the primary components of psychological warfare is a covert plan of demoralization that includes causing and installing distrust of one's cause, one's ideas, one's causes. It also includes the creation of incidents like riots, like the one that almost happened in Philadelphia. They, put the cop in jail this time, but too late. false flags, disturbances. It is a strategy of tension that we've talked about. Panic, false alarms. Does this word offend you? These kind of things. Now, Reverend James F. Miller appeared on CNN with an extremely confused and disturbed brother, Don Lemon. Lemon asked Mr. Miller to critique the recently released police dash cam of Sandra Bland's arrest, who, come to find out yesterday, actually was not dead when they took the book-in picture. Fine. She was alive then, but we also know that she was making phone calls and saying that she was badly beaten. Anyway, that Negro said that he hadn't even seen it. Mr. Miller had been introduced as Bland's pastor and mentor at DuPage AME Church in Lisle, is that how you say it? Illinois? So DuPage belongs to the same African Methodist Episcopalian Satanic John Wesley denomination of the Mother Emanuel AME false flag and strategy tension operation that took place in Charleston, South Carolina. Dr. Miller rides the Hellenized gram for the Illuminati, just as the late Reverend Clementa Pinckney, Alpha Phi, Alpha, who rode the ram to become the Illuminati sacrifice. Why did the handkerchief thing head appear on air to critique Bland's arrest when he hadn't seen the damn thing? I can say damn right. Damn isn't a bad word. Okay. This shameless Reverend Dr. James F. Miller is a member of the Divine Nine, the Boule Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He kneels at the Delphic Shrine, the shrine of the god Apollo. In Revelation, the king of the bottomless pit, aforementioned, the abyss, named as abandoned in Hebrew, meaning the destroyer, Apollyon in Greek, meaning the destroyer. Apollyon is one of the spellings of the Greek god Apollo. Demon, Daemon, Lucifer, Devil, Satan. These are all names of a destroyer. Sandy Bland was caught inside an enigma, wrapped inside a puzzle, packaged up nice and pretty for your horror fest. Texas Department of Public Safety Trooper Brian Encina, I think that's his name, pulled her over at a traffic stop. Says to her while standing next to the driver's side window, "You seem irritated." She responds, "I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me, so I moved over, and you stopped me. So yeah, I'm a little irritated." This cop told her to put out her cigarette. She refused to do, saying, "I'm in my car. I don't have to put out my cigarette." At that point, she was asked to step out. It should be very clear to you that this is no random stop in any traffic violation. This trooper had targeted, singled her out. He had been closely tailing her in his patrol vehicle, then suddenly speeding up behind her car to force her over. He forced her from the car, deliberately, physically pushed her out of the police dash cam range to further harass antagonize, infuriate her, then manufactured an assault battery charge against her that took place outside of the range of the camera. Clearly a setup, clearly a stage event. Bland had been predicted to react in a certain manner. Uncertainty to a designed set of stimuli and stress tactics. Like all unwitting patsies, this trooper kept probing Bland until the right circumstances existed to take her down, force her into a state of custody, to create this international incident, to further divide and polarize. That's a 1 and a 0. That's a 10. The people of this planet. And, I have to admit, they show an odd and kind of scary mugshot of her. From her unnatural shoulder position. Certainly looks as if she'd been lying down, and that's why the question was asked, is she already dead? Bland knew she had been set up and couldn't figure it out, really. Her words, they got me set at 5,000 bond. I'm just still at a loss of words for this whole process. How is switching lanes with no turn signal, or with a third turn signal into all of this? I don't even know. So let's take a look at this 28-year-old lady. She's been lauded and remembered as a Black Lives Matter outspoken activist. She has produced a number of commentaries on her Facebook page called Sandy Speaks, critical of America's race relations, police brutality, and Black Lives Matters since at least earlier this year, 2015. Sandra Bland, most likely unwittingly, worshipped and rode the Hellenized and satanic ram to her death. She, once again, active member of Delta Alpha chapter of the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. In a radical departure from the norm, her sorority sisters and Black Greek lettered organizations became very vocal in protesting her arrest, her death, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Bland's open activism was radical and a huge departure from the norm of this organization, because those that ride the ram and the goat don't ride the white horse of any human rights causes, not endorsed, created, shrouded by global satanic cabal, the Illuminati. These blood oath covenant Masonic Black people are very, very serious. They are performing a false satanic rite designed for them by the New World Order. They are temple Shriners, chartered by Grand Lodges of Prince Hall Masons. Even if all of them aren't 20 or 32 or 33 degree Master Masons, Shriner temples are Masonic Blue Lodges, period. These Negroes. See, I was going to use the word, can I say bitch? I could mean a dog. Bitches. Okay, I can say that. I don't think that's a bad word. We have to wait for the judge's ruling on that. Anyway, and his new foot soldiers, whether they know it, whether you know it or I understand it or not. International Shriners that they imitate are clandestine Masonic membership shrines under the jurisdiction of Albert Pike's Satanic Grand Lodge of Arkansas and the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite. They are primarily offsprings of the Luciferian Prince Hall Masons and the Order of the Eastern Star Sisterhood, subservient, of course, to the global Satanic Oasis and the underworld, and the demons of the abyss, probably Cthulhu. Anyway, and as such, they are not allowed to ride the white horse. July 16th, 2015. Sigma Gamma Rho sorority put the clampdowns on sorority sisters and fraternity order brothers getting involved in the Justice for Sandra Bland and the Black Lives Matter movement. That does not happen. It officially issued a statement from Benita M. Herring, the 23rd Grand Basileus, basically is the word. Yeah, Basileus. Problem there, right? There's a demon. Demon, so 23rd Grand Demoness. That she said had been the will of Bland's family, calling for the end of hashtags and petitions and commenting on the death of Sandra Bland, and asked that no protests, no marches be held. Yet Bland's sister, Sharon Cooper, urged supporters in continuing to express their solidarity via social media. In the same way, Bland spoke out about other injustices. Do not cross your sisters. She said in the absolute contradiction to the statement of the Divine Nine, so Sigma, Gamma, Rho, Basileus, please keep tweeting, keep Facebooking, keep Instagramming. She said, keep utilizing the hashtag Justice for Sandy. Keep hashtagging her, say her name. The minute you forget her name, you have forgotten her character. Sigma Gamma Rho sorority had deliberately allowed Sandy Blanche to ride the white horse, climb out on a limb as a Black Lives Matters activist, to loudly protest and hashtag the Black Lives Matters movement in a virtually daily basis up until the day she was laid to waste. So let's take a closer look at Benita M. Herring of Chicago. Basileus Herring, Black Catholic. Okay, I won't even go there. A member of St. Ailbe Catholic Church in Chicago. St. Ailbe of Emily was a 6th century Irish bishop and patron saint of wolves, who reputedly baptized St. David. St. Ailbe's legend is deeply interwoven with the fables of King Arthur, the Round Table, the Holy Grail, that was made up because Irish people were rioting at the time. So don't be looking for your grail or saying it's because there was a good king. It was not. They made it so you'd stop fighting. And it worked. So this is old. And they used our love of storytelling against us. Okay, moving on. It was from St. David. His real name is Din Duid, I think that's closest. Anyway, that Cadagsmans came to destroy King Arthur. St. Ailbe Church has a veiled history and secret satanic ritual, sexual abuse, and exploitation of who? Black children. St. Ailbe Church, another one of those pedophile paradises. Waypoint for Jesuit priests. I wonder if the Pope's going to visit. St. Ailbe, there was a father, Victor Stewart. I have his picture up if you go to turtleislandnews.info. He is alleged to have ran a pedophile ring, a club, if you will, out of the church during the 90s. And during the 90s, Father John Walter Callicott was also sexually abusing children at the same church. There is also a serial pedophile, Father Daniel McCormick, at St. Abbey for 10 years. Ailbe. Okay, so McCormick's sexual abuse of children extended all the way back to, guess where? Vatican, Rome. To Pope Benedict the I'm trying to remember this XV1. So that's 16th. Pope Benedict the 16th. And his predecessor, John Paul II. Popes linked to a global ninth satanic circle. By the way, Bezalus is defined as a king or emperor. The most importantly, the ruler of the Eastern Roman Empire. This name. The secret satanic, the Illuminati, the pedophile rings in Chicago, just as powerful, just as vicious as the ones in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., which we have talked about before. So St. Ailbe's Catholic Church certainly appears to be a pedophile's paradise for this ritual sexual abuse of black children. What does it say about Bezalus Herring? It shows the grave level of human depravity of the satanic elite that she is willing to tolerate as a ruler of the Eastern Roman Empire. She's in league with the Roman Catholic Church, the satanic hierarchy, the satanic ritual sexual abuse of black children. Bezalus Herring, Sigma, Gamma Rho, would certainly tolerate and be in league to set up Sandy Bland as an Illuminati sacrifice. So I'm calling it out. They, MK Ultra, played with Sandy's mind. I have a picture of her. Sandy started off a classic CIA MK Ultra sex kitten pattern that we have spoken of before. Walter County, Texas, playing out as Sandy Bland's incident in corporate mass media by snowballing, I'm sorry, I'm using the term, the public with incriminating, inconsistent, conflicting, unverified facts about Miss Brand. It is consistent with the aims of the psychological warfare program designed to demoralize the public by instilling distrust of one's cause, one's ideas, and causes, like Black Lives Matter. And we got to look at that term. And I have a cop up there doing the I am in the Brotherhood hand signal. Good old boy. Walter County, Republican. D.A. Elton, Raymond, Matthews, fourth generation, go for the bad, with his own black agitator, hound. Texas cowboy from former Confederate stronghold, Hempstead, Texas. D.A. Mathis planted CNN with information about Harris County's medical examiner that the report finding about 30 cutting scars, some of which were in a state of healing on Brand's left wrist, to implant the suggestion amongst the masses that she had been seriously attempting suicide before this. So they are telling the public that nobody in jail over 3 days noticed up to 30 cutting scars. Some in the state of healing on her left wrist. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this dog won't hunt. The Dutchman, via South Africa, by the way, Walter County Assistant DA Warren Keith Diapram, with an international fist claw symbol when you see him. The Dutchman reported that Harris County Medical Examiner's autopsy and finding found substantial amount of marijuana, THC, and that D.A. Mathis claimed publicly to be amid some sort of mind-altering drug in her system at the time of her death, to suggest that she had the capacity to harm herself under the influence of drugs. Seattle police say that marijuana dissipates in about 90 minutes from the blood. So 3 to 4 hours later, they're not getting any good evidence. So people are asking, where did the substantial amounts of THC in Bland's body come up from after 3 days of police custody? Walter County law enforcement officials also released two politicians information that Bland had informed them that she had attempted suicide before to miscarriage, due to a miscarriage, so that she had some sort of postpartum depression. 2014. Sharon Cooper confirmed that her sister did have a miscarriage, May 2014. Bland had allegedly written on a jail intake form that she had tried to kill herself at that time using pills, though Cooper was not specifically aware of that suicide incident or any postpartum depression or any psychosis or any diagnosis or any treatment of the same. Postpartum psychosis is separate mental health disorder, which is sometimes erroneously referred to as postpartum depression. It is less common than PPD, and it involves the onset of psychotic symptoms that include disturbances in thought, hallucinations, delusions, and or disorganized behavior, speech. So notice. Okay, we're going to take a little break, guys. You're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy, and if you want to hang out with me, come over to turtleislandnews.info, and I will be continuing. Thanks all. Love you. See you Tuesday.
I don't give up. Not until my people are free will I give up. And if I have to sacrifice some more, then I sacrifice some more.
There's a bird that we'll see by and by, written of our lives. Oh, your heart is a pen, cannot tell a lie. You can make a difference if you try. There's a bird, oh, that will sing. Oh, what a road you took when you were down here on your way. How did you love somebody? Yeah, when you kind. You can make a difference if you try. Oh, now there's a little light in our souls. I feel it, that's how I know. If you can just look away the hate in your soul, you can make a difference. Yes, I know. You may ask yourself, what does it mean? What does it mean? Shepherd. I ain't going to church. Yes, I do. Lord have mercy. I wanna let the vow. Oh, well I know, yeah I know what you're thinking about. But I'm asking you right now, did you try to make a difference in this house? Can you say, amen? Amen.
Okay, welcome back everyone. Yeah, I'm going to continue so I don't lose my place. I freaking hate having to go back. So, this Dutch guy, this South African, who I had to listen to them saying how, black people shall mean to them. Yeah, go back to Holland. A-holes. Okay, moving on. Notice that when Cooper exposed the fact that Bland didn't sign the jail intake form, alleging postpartum depression, suicide attempt, George Stephanopoulos immediately cut her off, changed the subject. In the news that Walter County produced unverified documents saying that Sandra Bland had told officials when she was being booked into this Southeast Texas jail that she suffered from epilepsy. A suicide questionnaire that was among the booking documents released Wednesday by Walter County shows that Bland had told them that she was taking the anti-epileptic drug Capra. In another document, one that was to be filled out by by the inmate, that contains Bland's verified signature, no is circled by the question asking if she's on any medication. Capra is also consistent with the treatment of, and suppression of social anxiety disorders. It includes anger, apathy, depression, altered mood swings, negativity. Believe it or not, they treat you for that. I'm sorry, that's a negative statement. Oh, I should be stoned out of my mind. Where's my doctor? Anyway, social awkwardness, tearfulness. Yes, if you are or have ever experienced emotion, take this drug. So researchers have found that many patients are admitted to hospitals for seizures that look like epilepsy but are actually triggered by stress. Seizures from stress, called psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. Yeah, they have a name for it. They're often found in patients such as returning post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, war veterans, mothers in child custody battles, overworked professionals, people breathing in and out and turning on television. Okay, that last one I made that up. Okay, but Brand said that she had been dealing with depression and PTSD. By all the above coming out of Waller County, Bland had been clearly subjected to something severe and extreme, multiple, abnormal stresses, so concealed that her family didn't know anything about them. The family's attorney, Canon Lambert, told the PAC News conference that he didn't know anything about any alleged epilepsy or PTSD or drug medication. Somebody, entity, or entities had subjected this woman to some secret battery of ritual abuse and traumas. Somebody had been playing with her mind. So let's look at, the CIA, stress, and postpartum psychosis. Dr. James Alexander Hamilton of the CIA during the 60s. I captured a picture of one of his more zombie black Manchurian candidates sent among us to most likely try and assassinate H. Rap Brown, Jamal Abdullah Al-Amin. His real name is H. Rap Brown. Rap Brown. Anyway, some of this people, female agents on the street, tried to lure, so this is honeycomb, people behind the walls of Little Prison of Horrors, Vacaville's men's medical facility, to tutor CIA MKUltra black zombies. So the Black Cultural Association specifically is a training organization for this, but how to be black nationalist brothers. Mr. Hamilton, CIA station agent at Vacaville. Most people don't know at the time, but Dr. Hamilton was feeding brothers radiation. Most people at that time didn't know anything about the true CIA, anything about MKUltra, or the projects, especially Project Chaos, the FBI's COINTELPRO, already going on in the 60s. Dr. Hamilton's people, who were black honeybees on the street, disposed of and replaced people with one of the so-called revolutionary voices, specifically out of Vacaville. It's a setup. So stress experiments that we have talked about before that produce multi-personality disorders have been and are the hallmark of CIA, MKUltra mind control programs, and OSS experiments, the early ones before World War II, as all of these things were being set up. One of the OSS and CIA's primary movers of mind control stress experiments had been the notoriously sexual deviant Stanford University psychiatrist Dr. James Alexander Hamilton. And since his days with the OSS during World War II, Dr. Hamilton had been one of the world's leading experts in assessing the physical and mental and emotional capacities of agents for secret and covert operations for the United States and Great Britain. Since then, he may still be in charge. Now, since MKUltra in 1953, Dr. Hamilton had been a leading CIA psychiatrist, directly involved in assessing, developing mental, physical, emotional capabilities of Manchurian candidates through hallucinogens, chemicals, radiation, electricity, brain implants, trauma-based programming for secret and covert CIA mind control operations. Since almost from the beginning of MKUltra, Dr. Hamilton had been probing the state of mind of women during periods of postpartum trauma for open gateways to the mind to control behavior and implant controllable multiple alter personalities, usually through psychiatry, but not always. So it came to light that Dr. Hamilton's MKUltra subproject, actually numbered 140, at the time renamed MK Search number 3, concerned itself directly with secret mind control experiments regarding stress, trauma, and that period of time. I think it's called puerperium. He defined this word himself. It's defined as the state of a woman while bearing a child, or the period immediately after. So it's the postpartum period. At that point, because the gateway physically had been opened, right? This is why it's important to bond with your child then. If a woman and a child doesn't do it then, it's almost impossible not to do it. But it's a physical and mental, emotional, spiritual state. And you are actually easily taken at that point. I don't know how else to say it. Now, in 1987, it was reported that Dr. Hamilton, again of the CIA, had been one of the world's leading experts in this postpartum period and had been for over 32 years. Now, thanks to Dr. Hamilton and the CIA, the standard technology to use during that period as to opening to mind control has existed for a long time. And if, without more, it is determined that Sandy Blanche actually committed suicide, if we hear this later, don't be surprised. Anyway, it would be absolutely consistent with implanted self-destruction, that Terminator altar that we've seen so many times. So let's take a closer look at Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. It was founded November 12, 1922, at Butler University, Indianapolis, by black female educators who had already learned, been taught by, the Prussian mind control educational system. It was incorporated within the state of Indiana in December 1922. This is why it was allowed, not because they wanted you to have sororities, if I have any sisters listening, but it was because specifically training women. And at these sororities, it meant rich black women to be able to be used, sponsored, pampered for a little while, then triggered at any moment. It became a national sorority December 30th, 1929. It was granted what they called an alpha charter. Interesting enough, when we've talked about mind control, the alpha. The sorority was founded by 7 educators and housewives that say they had their calling to form the sorority had come from Yale's Skull and Bones. That's what they said. It is what they say, anyway, that their sisterhood call came from that. I don't think it did. That's okay. Let's put a shield on it. By their own admission, they are a sisterhood order of the Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, Brotherhood of Death, who are notoriously not favoring black people. But, they, I'm sure, like a little bit of chocolate in their coffee. Okay, anyway, those on the inside know it as the order. Others have known it for more than 150 years as Chapter 322, German Secret Society. More formally, for legal purposes, the order was incorporated as the Russell Trust, 1856, also known as the Brotherhood of Death, lovingly by some. Those who make light of it or want to make fun of it call it Skull and Bones, or just plain Bones. You can read more about this on Anthony C. Sutton, America's Secret Establishment, 1986. Now, founded 1832, the Order of the Skull and Bones, Brotherhood is Dead, formerly Yale's oldest secret society. Not so secret, we know about it. Headquartered in a windowless tomb on High Street. So according to Skull and Bones lore, in 322 BC, a Greek order died. When he died, the goddess Eulogia, the goddess of eloquence, arose to the heavens. Didn't happen to come back, actually, until 1832. And when she happened to take up residence in the tomb of Skull and Bones. Now, they do everything in deference to a goddess, this goddess. They have songs or sacred anthems that they sing when they are encouraged to steal things. Some remarkably valuable items. Supposedly, they are said to bring back the gifts to the goddess herself. They begin each session in the tomb, where they meet twice weekly, unveiling a sort of guilt shrine to her. That's the point, this society. That's the point of it. They call themselves the Knights of eulogia. That's where the 322 comes from as well. The hidden power, the Ivy League. So, the Eulogia Club and Lodge 322 initiates are most commonly known as Bonesmen and the Knights of Eulogia. That's where the word. Also, Boodle Boys. I know, sounds weird. The females who have recently been permitted to become members would be known as Bones Women, Ladies of Eulogia, Booty Girls, well, Boodle Girls. So by their own admission, the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority has been Ladies of Eulogia for a long time. I had never heard of this. Now, most of Skull and Bones critics believe the goddess Eulogia is a deliberate fabrication and a secret diversion of the truth. Eulogia is a word of Greek origin, meaning to be blessed. It is a term related to Christian Holy Eucharist, the Holy Communion, and the Lord's Supper. Jesus commanded his followers to do this in memory of me, while referring to bread as my body and wine as my blood. And without knowing it, given a high five to the voodoo rituals that it comes from, where they're actually drinking blood and eating flesh. Anywho, through that celebration, Christians remember Christ's sacrifice for one and all, of course, on the cross. Nevertheless, most people believe the powerful ancient satanic goddess is concealed behind her, that the real patroness unveiled is actually a mother of Babylon, the goddess Ishtar, another name for Lucifer's consort. The sister of Lucifer, Lucifer's twin, is the goddess Sybil. She is the Lion King. She's also Lilith. It's how it all comes in here. And the cult of Sybil was sanctified by the Roman Senate, known as the Great Mother, Magna Mater. The Greeks identified her as the goddess Rhea, mother of the Olympians, Demeter, goddess of the hardest, or Dementor, freaking screechy, crazy thing. The cult of Sybil, the cult of Moloch, child sacrifice, is related to the secret ancient Roman, Venetian, satanic brotherhood death cults. So we're talking again about the Black Nine, the Black Divine Nine, and the Ninth Satanic Circle, which we've gone into. The Eucharist celebration ritual, if you will, involves ancient secret satanic cannibalistic rites. We must admit what we're doing. Cannibalism means the consumption of a victim's flesh and blood, consuming their spirit, their essence, if you will. At one time in the world, cannibalism, human sacrifice, had been the state of mankind. Apparently on the earth, we are told in the stories, before Osiris ended that savage, barbaric practice to further separate man from beast. However, rituals of sacrifice, sacrificing specifically a human being for the purpose of their blood, including rituals associated with self-injury. Yeah, that's where the cutting comes from. But it's in order to cause blood loss. Has been a primary secret domain. It is the worship of the goddess Sybil, the lion. queen in this case. It is still Cain. It is still the Phi, the star. So it's been a thing for at least 10,000 years. The worship of blood sacrifices of her has survived for a very long time. Some rituals of Catholic Church tightly entwined with this Roman bloodbath. Any religion where you are drinking wine, eating a piece of bread, or any reference to the blood and the body you put in your mouth, it's bad. And it's also the worship of Attis, known across the ancient world as the Good Shepherd, who is the son of Sybil, has always been interwoven with the worship of his mother, the Queen of Heaven. So we have, again, Jesus and Mary. Mary, or Eve, and Cain. Now some would say Lilith, but I'm thinking Lilith and Eve, same personified being. But when she said no to Adam and created onto herself with the serpent, so using Kundalini energy riding up her spine from the sacrum to the vagus, so bottom of your spine, top of your spine, this is what happened. So of course we could look at this, but behind the black shroud here, in the black mass, many are paying homage to our most secret and supreme satanic deity. Attis, hidden behind Jesus. Sybil, hidden behind Mary. Dogon, Baal, Melech, behind God. All of these ceremonies, all of these festivals associated with Attis. Most important, because it's known as Black Friday, or Dies Sanguinis, the Day of Blood, on or around the 25th of March, 9 months before Solstice Festival of Birth on the 25th of December. Which is why we went into. And today, same group, of which there are members, Christian hierarchy. They are known as the Nine. They are known specifically as the Ninth Circle. It is a cult requiring mandatory entry into the circle of every new pope before their assumption of office. Circle rites, satanic sacrifices, certain privileges are made that involve ceremonial killing of newborns. We are told, can't prove, children and the consumption of flesh, blood by members of this cult. Yeah, that's why I waited for you guys. Can't prove this, but we've heard a lot of stories about deep and dark things going on there. And we've talked about them before. I know you guys aren't squeamish, so we're going on. So behind all the pomp, the circumstance, the fraternity, the ceremonies, the bottom line here is that behind the shroud, Sigma Gamma Rho, these sororities, is a sisterhood of the Brotherhood of Death. It is skull and bones. And as I have told you before, all royalty always has a voodoo priestess. Ta-da! That's what these girls are. And some, of course, ritual sacrifice, sex slaves, yada, yada, yada. But priestesses, of their own right, most likely respected too. This is behind the veil that I am pulling up. It is part of the old world, the death cults. it is absolutely no problem in setting up and sacrifice a lesser sister in their hierarchy like Sharon Bland for the ultimate aims of the New World Order. And the devil is always behind the details. So let me introduce Henry McKay Minton, Sigma Gamma Rho. The history of this sorority began with the 14th Boule that convened in New York. This Boule took place December 27th to 30th. Interesting dates, again. 1939. The person was responsible for the Boule, the regionalization of the Sigma Gamma Rho fraternity, and most likely the devil, in the details, behind their call to the Skull and Bones had to be one of the Boule's primary founders, Henry McKay Minton, who died in 1949. It isn't necessary for me to go into Boule. We've done it. There are many excellent references out there about this. The ghetto times, Kushite kingdom, many things out there. And we've gone into it enough. You know what I'm talking about. Now, Henry McKay Milton's father, Theophilus Minton, because people are just going to use that name, had been one of Philadelphia's first black lawyers. He had been independently wealthy, a leader in Philly, in black social class in his own right. Minton's mother, Jean McKay, was the daughter of one of the richest, maybe the most wicked, black men in America at the time, a Colonel John McKay. He was a free-born mulatto, so mixed. People still use that term. It's hilarious. Okay, who became extremely wealthy, a property owner in Philadelphia. He died in 1902. He was one of the wealthiest black men in America at the time. He owned 1 million acres in real estate, over 30 rental units in Philadelphia. Across the United States had an estimated worth of up to $4 million. And this is 1902 when he died, so that's big money. That's big money, right? And his last will and testament was a virtual copy of the last will and testament of Stephen Guillard, a Roman Catholic Frenchman, Knight of St. Louis under King of France, Louis XV. Guillard was a Philadelphia ultra-racist master mason in Union Lodge No. 8, Charleston, South Carolina. He loaned large sums of money to the colonies during the War of 1812. Later established the large Stephen Guillard Charity Fund, which is still administered. Guillard was a shipping tycoon, made his fortune in slavery and Chinese opium, along with the Baring Brothers, premier merchant bank, opium traffic, from 1887 till, what time is it? Present day. Still in charge, still the same pirates, said British royalty that we talked about. But anyway, they are some primary financial benefactors of the Committee of 300. Still, all the New World Order guys that we've ever even discussed, right? Same things. Now, where was I? The college he formed was in Philadelphia, basically. He left large sums of money to charities for orphan white boys. In his will, Colonel McKay also left large sums of money and real estate to orphans that included colored boys. His words, and remember it was written a long time ago, ministered by Roman Catholic Church. And I bet you they were all pretty. Whatever flavor he happened to be using at the time. Now, Colonel McKay had been raised a guild bricklayer mason in his birthplace, Alexandria, VA. When he died, he left his only grandson, Henry Milton, $50. His two daughters, $300. His vast multi-million-dollar estate was taken over and controlled entirely by the Roman Catholic Church, even though that man wasn't Catholic and he was black. H.H. Holmes, yeah, he left nothing. $300, $5 to his kids. Not 50, not $50. So anyway, H.H. Holmes and secret Masonic artifact alleged to be associated with his coven. Now during his lifetime, I've got a picture of that. During his lifetime, one of the properties on 1316 Callowhill Street in Philadelphia had been leased as a coven to Henry Webster Mugget. So, aka Dr. Henry Howard Holmes. So this is H.H. Holmes, America's first documented 19th century prolific Masonic serial mass murderer. First guy, H.H. Holmes. I'm sure we've talked about him. He was a leader of a death cult that may have been responsible for killing at least 200 people all across the United States. He was executed, charged, hanged. A Roman Catholic. He wasn't actually known to be a Roman Catholic, but he was certainly one of their ultra-secret Masonic societies, though. Satanic Black Mass death cult that he passed down to his equally satanic grandson, Henry McKay Milton, and the Illuminati Philip Executor Academy. Now, Henry McKay Milton was educated, primed, groomed to serve the Illuminati at Phillips Academy, located 619 acres. It's big. In New Hampshire. It's supposed to be gorgeous too. And among the oldest, most prestigious schools in America. One of the main feeder schools for Harvard and Yale, aka Skull and Bones, Culture of Death, yada yada yada, formed by a banker, Dr. John Phillips, and Margaret Wheelton, also satanic Americans, royal descent, and the royal descent of the Saxon warrior, King Edward. Now, just how exclusive, elusive, elitist is this? Its Illuminati base includes 19 state governors, 5 U.S. senators, 5 Olympic athletes, 2 Nobel Prize winners, a U.S. president, even tech moguls like Facebook founder Mark Zuckerman of the Bilderberg Group, founder of Korea, Adam D'Angelo, Dan Brown, author of the Da Vinci Code. So by the way, yes, Dan Brown, elitist. Look at him as the modern day Sitchin, feeding us a whole bunch of line of Bullshit. So, Da Vinci Code, Masonic-inspired lost symbol, groomed at the Academy. Skull and Bones, pedophile, former U.S. President George Walker Bush attended Phillips Academy as well. Many New World Order millionaires, powerful political elites, handful of billionaires, products of this community, and have helped grow the school's endorsement and endowment to $1.2 billion. Later you go on to Skull and Bones. Now, early 1950, source, that Henry McKay Milton was a former secret society Oddfellows. By 1906, Grand Order of Oddfellows of Manchester, England, established a headquarter base in Philadelphia. However, it's not clear if Minton belonged to the Grand United Oddfellows or something older and much more secret order, scarier order. The Order of Oddfellows is British Empire. It was founded in the 18th century by a blood covenant oath of Masons. Then we have Albert Pike, also an odd fellow. Knights of the Golden Circle, KKK. The Oddfellows predate the British Empire. They predate Freemasonry by generations. As a matter of fact, they're the oldest, earliest, I think, secret fraternity or fraternal society. Their early history is really obscure, largely undocumented. There are those legends, of course, tracing back Moses, Aaron, Israelites, Babylon, 6th century BC, claims that the order was brought to Europe by Jewish prisoners after the destruction of the temple at Jerusalem by the Roman Emperor Titus. This is again going back to 70 CE. Still all fits in. But another Oddfellows legendary anyway link them to soldiers of the Roman Empire themselves. Around the 11th century, another myth states that although no formal records exist, the Order of the Oddfellows was established in 1452 by knights who were said to have met in a pub named Boulogne-sur-Mer. So it's about the water goddess again, the abyss. So, are they satanic? Bad. And they keep having pictures of Baphomet and a ram wearing Oddfellows aprons, surrounded by children. Again, it goes back to what's in Detroit, the place where at least 100,000 black people have no water. It's why there's children, one on each side beside the Baphomet. I didn't look close enough to see if he has an Oddfellows apron. I'll check again. But one thing's clear anyway. They have identified themselves anyway as the oldest fraternity. Oldest, ultra-secret, satanic Brotherhood of Death. They predate the German orders, even the ones that chartered Skull and Bones. And the Boulets are secretly a part of this satanic oasis. So I think the public is taking a serious look at Sandy Bland killing. Recently I heard a mainstream corporate media, and not across the internet, the general public is talking and taking a serious look at whether or not Sandy Bland was deceased in her mugshot. It was a valid concern, I thought, but apparently she was. Why did the police single her out? Why was she targeted in the first place? Why did she take her booking mugshot in the orange jumpsuit instead of her street clothes? Also, I believe that Lafayette, LA movie theater shooting is another convenient diversion to take you away from the Sandy Bland matter. CIA has a stockpile of sleeper Manchurian candidates. Don't let Sandy Bland killing die off. It's a rabbit hole that's bound to go deeper and deeper. So deep, I think, that most of us may develop Dr. Gregory Bateman's double blind, insanity without disease, if you don't continue to resist and lift up each and every veil that we come to. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not saying this is the answer. She may have nothing to do with this. But how she looked a month ago and how she looks now absolutely has nothing to do with how she looks now. And she was absolutely connected. Absolutely connected. Oh, Motown, Lois. My dad worked for Motown. Absolutely as dark as you've been told. Darker. Trust me. So, the blue moon. The blue moon's on Friday. And our sister has been very powerful. And our days have been crazier and crazier and frickin' crazier. Now, the mystery behind the Los Angeles gun fanatic found decomposing in a car last week has deepened, as his fiance's family said that he was an alien hybrid secretly working for the government, because apparently you just say that kind of shit now. The bizarre statement came Wednesday as the betrothed woman's lawyer identified the dead man as Jeffrey Allen Lash. Interestingly enough. Interesting that she gives his three names to. But almost 1 week after he was discovered rotting in his car parked in the street in the Tony Pacific Palisades neighborhood, St. Angeles police found 1,200 guns, nearly 7 tons of ammunition. Tons of ammunition. Bows and arrows, knives, machetes, $230,000 in cash in his home last week. They discovered a Toyota SUV designated to drive underwater amongst the 14 vehicles registered in his name. The collection was odd. As Lash's confessions to soon-to-be wife, Catherine Nebrim, that he was working as an undercover operative for multiple unnamed government agencies, according to her defense attorney. The story sounds totally batshit crazy. But how do you explain it? How do you explain if this guy was not connected? Where'd you get all this cheddar? You know, I'm thinking a car that can work underwater is going to cost you something, right? So the story sounds nuts. There's no evidence he was a drug dealer, or that he stole any of the weapons, or that he had any kind of criminal source of income. He had no stolen property. All the stuff I'd freaking look for, right? Lash was also believed to be an alien, sent to Earth to protect us, with a lot of guns and a hot car. I want a picture of him. Is he cute? What am I saying? He's dead. Now, anyway, according to Laura Van Bunker, mother of 39-year-old Don Van Bunker, who used to work for Nebran. I don't believe this, she said. It's worse than a Twilight Zone movie. He was part alien, part human, and was out to save the world. Authorities are still working to confirm the man's identity and to figure out why he possessed so many cars and firearms, many of which were still in boxes and had price tags. LAPD chief of detectives said that he does not believe he was doing anything illegal with the weapons. He had been decomposing inside his car for 2 weeks before he was found, July 17th. Police did not suspect any foul play involved in his death, but there is an investigation into the cause. Braun said Nebram parked it down the street from the condo they shared before he died. He had trouble breathing but refused to go to the hospital or call 911. The longtime girlfriend of 17 years, so, they've been together a long time, then left for Oregon believing government agencies would come for his body and the items in his house. Apparently, that didn't happen. No reports as to whether or not he is a bona fide alien, but you must admit, that's hecka weird. So, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, a little longer. And I love you so much. Hang in there. I'm not going to say we're going to be okay. But I am going to say it will be exciting. If somebody doesn't plug this thing that Keshe has made in, if everyone acts noble, if the nuclear facilities are turned off, if we all find a way to work in the oil tankers, if we stop killing each other, if he's not a jinn and I'm wrong, if I need some coffee, if all of these things fall together, we could be in a happy place. And it's all going to be cool, and this really is a technology to save the world, and we're all going to hold hands, and there's going to be unicorns and flowers, and probably cookies, and maybe even a sandwich for Wiz. Sandwiches. Yes. And I killed Motown. The music's still good, but I'm telling you, it's mind-controlled friggin' things. It's all about this. So, it's going to be an interesting couple of friggin' months. Let's see if we can make it to September and see if actually Keshe comes back. He looks sick. He was touching a radioactive piece of, it was a kilogram of dirt sent by Japan, sent by TEPCO. How do you put that in the mail and just think that's going to be okay? So, I will stay informed and let you know as soon as I know. Have a wonderful weekend. And go outside tomorrow and enjoy that blue moon. Love you guys.
Oh, amen. You can make a difference if you try. You can make a difference if you